Welcome to Heal With Us, where we aim to inspire, strengthen, and empower.
Now let's begin to heal.
Hey, y'all, I'm Toya, and I'll be investigating the business of everyday people like you and I.
Blessings. It's Dr. Nikkisha Bell-Griffin, and I'll be checking in on your heart.
Hi, I'm Tam, Nerd's Corner, and I'll be giving you fun facts that you didn't know you needed. Why? Because I'm nerdy like that.
Now that you met us, let's get in your business.
business.
Alrighty, on today's episode, I wanted to talk about confrontations. So, how do you confront an issue that can't be avoided?
Ooh.
I don't.
It can't be avoided.
I don't. I have a hard time. I don't like confrontation. I don't like drama. I don't like, and I know that's not a good way to handle it, but my way of handling it, even if it can't, I ignore it in the hopes that it will sort itself out, or I'll just kind of push it to, so.
So you don't respond, is what you're saying?
How does that manifest?
How does it manifest? What do you mean?
Is it like explosive? Are you like peaceful about it? Are you making yourself nuts?
And not confronting
Not confronting it.
I don't know. I don't think about it. Saying that I need to handle it or address it. I don't think about it. I just eventually it does come to a head. Like eventually you're gonna have to face it. And I just, when it gets to that point, I just kind of deal with it.
And I put some like follow-ups, like, do you feel like you're passive, direct, indirect?
Passive. Yeah, passive.
Same. What about you?
So ask that question one more
How
time.
do you confront an issue that can't be avoided?
I try to be as honest as I can and try not to be reactive, which are very hard things. Well, the reactive part was hard for me because oftentimes I respond to the energy that I'm given and it's not helpful. So I try my best to be like calm, but it's very difficult when the other individual is not. Or, it could, if it's like, something workplace or whatever, and someone is kind of skewing things to their angle, it's like trying to remain objective and not defensive. So
Would you say you're direct?
I am direct, but it depends too, because I can be passive aggressive when I want to be.
Okay.
I'm not going to say when I want to be, but when I feel like, I don't like when people try to put words into my mouth and say that, oh, well, you're doing this, or you're being this, or you're acting, and really, like, that's your perception. So that's when I get kind of passive aggressive, because I'm like, this conversation is not going to get us anywhere, because, you're, instead of coming to me being open and just saying how you feel or whatever, you're putting your feelings onto me, which is totally different than just expressing how you feel. So, I don't feel like I can if I feel like my voice is not going to be heard because you're trying to overtalk me, or you're trying to it's all about being right, then that's when you get the passive aggressive me, which
So
I know is not productive.
what if they lead with, I feel
that
like you're
right.
da 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 da. Does that help?
It does.
Oh, okay.
But it helps because some people will say that, because I know that's supposed to be the constructive way of having conversation. I feel such and such and such. But if you're saying that and it's almost like what is the word?
To a point.
A jab, or you're saying it and you're saying it to say, because what we got to understand is, like, yes, express how you feel, share how you feel. We should respect each other's feelings, but in the same token, your feeling is not my truth. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it gets tricky. Yeah.
How do you feel during the conflict?
I feel uneasy, and it's weird because I've had several leadership roles, and there were times that there was confrontation with employees amongst each other, that I knew I needed to handle because it was making the work environment uncomfortable for the other employees. So it really makes me feel tense. It just makes me feel like, oh my God, like, I know I need to address it,
Yeah.
but I just know what's going to come of it.
That's funny too, because in the workplace, it's completely different for me than like personal,
Oh,
For how
see, it's
so?
all
because I
around.
have to be direct
Yeah.
or it will get out of
Yeah.
control or,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I'm definitely direct when it comes to professionalism, I guess. But when it's like personal, I just
See,
retreat and
I'm the same way, personal and professional. And just thinking back to times where I did, have to say, okay, I'll handle it. I like to handle it in pieces, meaning I would take one person. If it's two people that's causing the issue, take that one person, work it out with them, the other person, work it out with them. I never bring the two in and kind
yeah, I
of be,
wouldn't.
okay, y'all tell me
Yeah,
what's going on.
no.
Y'all work it. No, I didn't, because it gets me even more
Yes.
antsy. Like,
Yeah.
no, I feel like, let me handle it with that person, handle it with this person, and then kind of give a word as to say, we've talked about it, we've addressed it, this is where it stops, and we're letting it go. We don't need to discuss it with the person involved, because it's already been handled with them and myself. So, but yeah, both, I'm the same way in both personal
Yeah.
and professional.
Yeah, I think in my professional life, I've seen it get out of control. So that's why it's completely direct from the beginning, now.
And I
And that was
understand that.
years of experience,
Yeah.
like years and years of learning and developing, but it's uncomfortable still.
Yeah.
But I know if I'm not direct, then it's going to be more of a confrontation later, and I don't
Yeah.
want that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's even harder when you know that confrontation resolution is going to be catastrophic. Some example, somebody's going to lose their job.
Yeah.
That right there is the hardest thing, because
Yes.
I want everybody to eat. I want everybody to have a seat at the table. I don't ever want to take from somebody's
Yeah.
family or, circumstance or life, but, sometimes things happen that they do to cause it.
Yeah.
And that's just the repercussion, but it's still hard, when you have to do something like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking at, and how that person feels, and oh my God, but then I realized, Tamara, that really don't have anything to do with you,
Yeah.
because they made that choice.
Yeah.
But still, it's just like, oh, what are they gonna do? How are they gonna pay their
Yeah.
bills? Like, oh my God, they got 3 little kids and they're divorced, and
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
I
Taking
struggle.
off that responsibility, because
Yeah.
it's not your responsibility to fix it. It's trusting. Okay, God, pray. I
Yeah.
pray you. You help.
That's
them on
why
their next.
I've always wanted to be a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but I would take on everything that person is talking to me about,
Yeah.
and I just yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they have a class for like being desensitized. Because I would just take it just because.
Yeah.
What about you? How do you feel during the conflict?
It depends. I can feel either defensive or, like you said, it definitely depends on the personal, professional, because I feel like personal, you take it more personal for the most part. Because professional, it just depends on the person and the situation. But a lot of times I will say, as either, if I'm not feeling defensive, I'm just in that moment trying to be self-aware, like, okay, did I do what,
Yeah.
I'm like checking myself, like, did I do something? Did I say something? What do I need to do? What do I
Yeah.
need, so it's kind of almost like that, me starting to feel conflict, and uneasy, about what is, especially if it's something that just comes out of nowhere. It's like, well, what just happened? So,
Yeah.
yeah, so sometimes a little confused, depending on how the person is coming at me, I could be defensive, but I try to be neutral as much as
Yeah.
possible, But again, a lot has to do with how the interaction is taking place. If somebody's calm and they're just telling me this is how I feel or whatever, I can respond very positively like that. But if you're coming to me with all this energy and this, oh,
Yeah.
let me, Jesus,
Yeah.
come with me,
Yeah.
be in the center.
Keep me at the
Yes,
hem
yes,
of his garment.
yes.
I had like some other examples I had where uneasy was the top one that I had. And then angry, sad, scared. Like I had all those
Angry?
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
'cause I
would
think
anger come in?
Well, I think sometimes if somebody's thinking you maybe did something you didn't do, that can make you
Yeah,
angry.
yeah.
Or maybe they, I don't know.
I mean, I
It-
can see angry though. I mean,
Yeah.
especially like I said, if it's a situation where it's like you're expressing your feelings, but you waited. Now I'm just speaking hypothetically. You waited till you got to the point where you're boiling. Like why when you were down here,
Yeah.
we could have had this conversation in a civilized manner, but you wait till you're up here, and now you're gonna either make me come up here with you, or I'm gonna have to step away
Yeah.
so that we can come back to the table and we can actually resolve something. Because I just think it's crazy when people want to address something when they know they're not in their right state of
Yeah.
mind. Like, it's not going to work out well for us. Let's just come back to the table when we can really be reasonable together and really try to come up with a solution.
And having said that, I think back about a time where I had to confront someone and they came with that anger, aggression. I was very calm. And why are you patronizing me?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And it made it even worse. And it's
Right.
like, but what are we going to resolve
Right.
with both of us up here? Like you say,
Yeah.
it's not,
Exactly.
it's a waste of time.
Right.
So I've had
Yeah.
extremes where I'm totally calm, because if it's something that, like the example you said, like somebody's saying you did something, you didn't do it. That's one of the ways I can go very calm, because I know I didn't do it, I didn't say it, and I'm calm, and that person's like, why you sitting here like, and I'm like, because I'm not at fault here. I
Exactly.
know I haven't done anything,
Yes.
so why would I be riled up?
Yeah.
I just want to confront it, bring it to the table so that we can go ahead and squash it and move on.
Yeah.
Right.
But me being calm and nice about it sometimes makes it even worse. So that's another reason why
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Isn't that
Because
interesting?
it literally, you really, really have to. And that's one thing that I don't admire about myself. You have to really, really, I'll let you pound on me. I'll let you just pounce and pounce. It takes a lot to get me to react.
Yeah.
Because I just, the amount of anger issues that I've been around
Yeah.
has taught me at a young age, like, that's not how I want to handle
Right.
things.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so me being
Yeah.
calm and going to somebody and they're just, and it's like, how can you be calm at this?
Right.
But what is going to get
Right.
resolved by
Yeah.
being rowdy and yelling
Yeah.
along with you? Where we going to see who can yell over who the loudest?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's wasted energy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just
I
another
agree.
reason why I don't, because I'm not. It takes a lot to get me to that point where I'm,
Right.
and if I'm talking to you just like this, and it's making you, and you think I'm trying to be funny,
Right.
and it's like, no, because I'm coming to you about a
Yeah.
serious matter. So this is not funny, and it's not like I have a smirk on my face.
Right.
I'm just talking.
Yeah, which it says a lot about the other individual, because it's like clearly you're used to unhealthy conflict resolution, because why do you
Yeah.
think that the other person has to meet you with that same
Exactly.
aggressiveness or
Exactly.
what have you? So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it also depends on maybe the person, the topic, the situation, or like maybe the surroundings. If I know I try to, it's like, okay, I'm going to put my good big girl boots on and I'm going to face this head on, and I go to start and I get I see it going, and I'll just say, you know what? Never mind. Let's table it. And that makes it worse.
Right.
Or I'll just say, you know what? Forget it. And I'll walk away, and that makes it worse. So it's like,
Yeah.
I just don't
Right. Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
do well with
Yeah.
confrontation. I don't.
So once it's resolved, what are your thoughts?
Phew.
I know, right? I mean, definitely a sense of relief, And sometimes I'm more agitated because it's
Yeah.
like, what was the purpose of that? Like, could we not have just,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm saying if it was like a negative way of, because confrontation is not always negative,
Yeah.
It's definitely necessary at times, but if it's like handled in a negative manner, even though it was resolved, eventually I am sometimes agitated. Like, why did we have to go
Yeah.
around the mountain 100 times instead of just coming directly and handling it in a peaceable way in the first
Yeah.
place,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Some of mine where I felt regret from it. I felt accomplished sometimes. Sometimes I feel exactly the same, like nothing happened. And then sometimes there's growth from it. Like,
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
look, I'm
Yeah.
glad I got that off my chest,
Yeah.
and I'm moving on with my life
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So those are
And sometimes
some.
I do evaluation. Like, was my approach okay?
Yeah.
How was my tone? Could I've used different words? Could I've, phrased something differently? So I do that
Yeah.
a lot too. And that's exhausting. Because
Yeah.
it's like, girl, you just sat right there and said, we're squashing this. We're not talking about it.
Yeah.
Here you go revisiting, worried about how you handled it. Like,
Yeah.
girl, let it go just like the other person.
Yeah.
Practice what you preach.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then my final question is, do you think the root of the conflict, like if it's a person, your job, community, do you think is even affected? Like how you go through all this, but do you think whatever that conflict was, like on the other end, were they affected? Was the job affected? Was the person affected?
Well, if it's professional, I think, yeah, the job is affected because if it's a circumstance where you have to terminate that employee, if it's a situation where, say, the workspace has to be altered because what have you, I think that would be affected. Personally, I would have said that too. I mean, because if it's a endearing relationship that you had to confront a confrontation, excuse me, it's going to change the dynamic or the dichotomy, excuse me, of that relationship. So I think, yes, all the way around.
I agree. I think, like, professionally, I've just kind of witnessed, certain things, and I've noticed how, especially if it's a person at the head, administrative or whatever, if they're not handling conflict well or confrontation well, it trickles down to everyone else. And it can create an environment that becomes toxic or very, where the morale begins to drop, people don't feel safe, So it definitely impacts, whether it's resolved or not, it definitely impacts the environment, and how, the confrontation was handled or not handled. And then personally, I think the same thing, especially when it comes to like your spouse or your children or good friends. I feel like depending on how you handle that confrontation, it is going to impact your relationship in the future. Like, do we still have trust intact? Do we still have respect and honor intact? Even though we disagreed about something or whatever, do we have a strong enough foundation to keep moving in the right direction in this relationship? Or is it just building up to another thing and another thing? You know what I mean?
Or will it repeat itself
right,
or present itself again?
Exactly. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had today. Thank you for letting me get in your business.
In your business.
Of course. I just wanted to, of course, continue the conversation. I guess what I am curious about is what have you learned about yourself when it comes to confrontation? And I'll start with myself. So when I'm in a confrontation with, certain times or certain people, it's like I have to really detach from that I feel stuff. That's why I say you got to be careful with that, because yes, I'm going to listen to how you feel. I'm going to respect and honor that. But if you're bringing that to me, because I'll just say this, it's not always going to be where, okay, I understand how you feel. Please understand how I feel. But does that mean that what I'm doing is wrong, or that I need to change something about me because of how you feel? You understand what I'm saying? Where how you feel may just be how you feel, but that's something in you that you need to deal with in yourself. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
And I'm saying that both ways. Not is so that for me is a challenge, because I've always, I think, like when you a people pleaser, you want people to be happy, you want people to think well of you. You're not thinking about, well, yeah, they might feel that way, but that's their feelings. That's their perspective. That doesn't mean what you're doing or who you are or whatever the situation is means that you're wrong or you need to change. You know what I mean? Like, so just trying to really evaluate that when I get into certain, situations now, and really like be self-reflective and aware and really examine, okay, is it something that I need to shift within me, or is this something this person needs to work on within their self, because this is a result of just their upbringing or maybe their insecurities or just, whatever it might be. So yeah.
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
I don't know. I don't know. No, I was just saying, what did you learn about yourself when dealing with, or what have you learned about yourself in dealing with confrontation throughout your life?
That I know that sometimes I'm not going to say sometimes, I'm a passive person. I have always been the type of person to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I know in certain circumstances and dealing with certain people that I shouldn't. Point blank, period. I shouldn't. Like, it should be in capital letters, Times New Roman font, 25 with an exclamation mark. Like, I shouldn't. But I just, coming up and being little and in church, you always show grace. Give grace. Give grace.
Right.
God gave you the same you give to others, even though you may not get it back. And that's something that I've just always tried to operate in. And keyword is try.
Right.
Because I'm not perfect.
Right.
But I know that I am a lot of times in situation and things, I'm too passive about it. But I just look at it as I would want somebody to give me grace. I would want somebody to give me a chance.
Right.
I would want somebody to correct me, because a lot of the times that person know they flat out wrong. They know they wrong.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel like what happens is the light turns on upstairs and they're like, oh my God, I'm wrong. But they don't want to be the bigger person and say, Doc, I'm sorry, I was wrong.
Right.
But they want to harbor all of this, do all of that. And I'm like, you're doing all of this, but you're wrong.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
and you're causing all this strife on your body and stress and all this. Probably ain't sleeping at night because you walking around mad and hyped up over something that you were wrong about.
Right.
So
yeah.
I just know a lot of the times when it comes to confrontation, if it's personal or even professional, I'm thinking I'm very passive, and I know I need to work on it. But I just feel like you just sprinkle in a little grace. That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd go straight to shutdown mode. Like, you might be talking to me, but as the lights out, the earplugs are in, I'm not hearing anything, because it's like a frozen state almost.
Yeah.
So we're not getting anywhere. It's just a brick wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the confrontation. I don't like it.
Yeah. That made me think of the flight, what is it? Flight, or freeze response. And you kind of have that freeze where I'm just going to shut down and you're not going to hear anything. Yeah.
But I just avoid, I guess, people that I know are that type or, so I keep it as minimal as I can possibly do it on my own.
That's
So,
interesting. That's good. Yeah, because in my head, I'm just like, okay, I know this person, might have a tendency. So how I'm trying to like plan out what's my best way to respond. But in some situations, and that made me think about you as well, creating boundaries. Because yes, you want to give people grace, but some people are going to keep, like you said, doing the same stuff over and over, and they know they did wrong. So that's when it's like, nope, I don't have to accept this. I don't have to tolerate this, So that's when you're kind of drawing the line and saying, like, we're not going to do this. Yeah.
And it took me a long time to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
Especially with family members.
Yes. That's the hardest. That's the hardest.
Yep. It took me a long time.
Yeah. So just to wrap it up, what do y'all think has been most effective in dealing with confrontation, especially with like loved ones, people that, because I feel like sometimes with work, you got to deal with it because, it's your job. You got to show up every day or whatever. But Family is definitely more personal. You're more emotionally invested, and that type of thing. What has been, what do you think your most effective way to handle confrontation with your loved ones?
I don't think you want to hear mine.
Oh Lord. And I mean beneficial. I mean some goodness has come out of it. Okay.
It has.
Okay. Well, go
But
ahead. We want to hear it.
you still don't want to hear my answer.
We
Okay,
wanna
well,
hear
I'm going to give it to you. Because you asking. I play dumb.
Oh. Okay. Well, what does that look like? Real quick. Real quick. What does that look like?
They could be, bringing something to me, and I'll just, oh, really? No, I ain't never heard of that. Really? Wow. Okay. All knowing. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm a walking encyclopedia.
Right.
Like, all knowing. I just
Okay.
play dumb
Okay.
to avoid confrontation.
Okay.
It's not wise and it ain't healthy, but it keeps it neutral. I will literally play dumb.
Okay. Interesting. I'm going to just leave it at that. Interesting. Never heard that technique before, but all right.
I posse up. So I'm gonna get somebody else to come on, I gotta go talk to this family member. Come with me.
Okay.
Or let's go to dinner. Let's go to lunch with.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. She
Yeah.
posses up.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, we got bullies in the family, okay? Passive aggressive bullies. I'm not a bully. I can be passive aggressive, but I hope I'm not. I'm not a bully, am I? Let me know
Wait
if
a
I'm
minute.
bully.
First it went,
Let me
I'm
know.
not. And then you said,
I'm
I'm
not.
not.
Am
Because
I?
again,
Am I?
my perception, I could be thinking I'm just being me, and then somebody else is like, well, no, but you're really, So I got to check myself. I don't mind correction, as you were saying. But yeah, I think the most positive for me has been just being quiet. And not being quiet like shutting down, being quiet, but being quiet like, let me just let this person talk and have their say, get their feelings out. And then
I can't do that because I don't have a poker face. So as I'm being quiet and letting that person talk, my face is.
I mean, I don't have a poker face either. But I'm
then
working on that.
Triggers them.
Yeah.
Why you got that smirk on your face?
Yeah.
I can't see how my face is looking. I'm
Right.
just looking at you.
Right.
Oh, now you're trying to pay. So I play.
So
dumb.
you gotta okay, but to me that's a psychological thing. Like you then.
I'm gonna touch on that.
So if you can play dumb,
Uh-huh.
then you can have a poker face because what you're doing is changing your thoughts. Like
I
in your
can't have
mind,
poker
no.
face.
So in your mind, whatever you're doing to play dumb while you're playing dumb, do that while you're listening. Do that while you're listening. Like, okay, I'm gonna just listen to this person and I'm gonna be real quiet. But in your mind, you might be just saying this is real dumb, or in your mind, you might be just saying, just listen. Whatever. I don't know. Whatever you need to do to be in that moment,
I can say
but
that to
trying
my
to be
mind.
compassionate for real.
But her
for
face
real.
ain't picking
Yeah,
up
but
what
my
her
face ain't picking up what I'm putting
But
down.
when you're being dumb, that means you telling on yourself too. Because
am I
how you
telling
act
myself?
dumb when you really not dumb for real? I'm sorry, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to have this conversation. We're going to have to get more into this later. But I would say just trying to be compassionate instead of defensive or, protecting yourself. Because that's like the first thing we want to do is protect ourselves.
Yeah.
But trying to be compassionate and being quiet. And then hopefully, getting into that space where you both can listen to each other and come to some kind of middle. But
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for me. Yeah, but that's all I had.
Okay. Well, I kind of wanted to give like a kind of definition or a quote of somewhere I read where it says, conflict avoidance is a type of people-pleasing behavior that typically arises from a deep-rooted fear of upsetting others. Wow. And I can co-sign to that. I agree with that. But also I found another interesting fact that talked about past insecurities or past experiences. I'm sorry. So it says that, and I got this from the Messenger Daily, which is like a news article website. And they talked about past negative experiences with confrontation can deeply shape certain fears by creating a lasting association between conflict and distress. In individuals who have faced harsh criticism, emotional hurt, and unresolved disputes in the past may develop a heightened sensitivity to confrontation. And I'm like, oh my God, that should have just
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
past experience, Tamara.
Yes. Put me in
Lakeisha,
Yeah.
Chlor.
Yeah.
I mean, my name should have just been there
Right.
because I'm like, oh my God. You know, I always look to see what it has to be something psychological as to why I do
Right.
something.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I looked into why I got to have the TV on when I go to sleep. So I looked at what is it that's causing me to avoid confrontation. And I'm like, oh my God, it's right here. Emotional hurt. You know, faced harsh criticism.
Yeah, that's me right there.
Anxiety, like all the things that causes a person to avoid conflict. Another interesting thing they brought up was social conditioning. I thought that was interesting.
Oh yeah.
An example where a child is raised in an environment where conflict is either discouraged or handled negatively and may learn to fear confrontation.
And we kind of talked about that before about just generational.
I want to know where the
things and
bulletproof people are that just don't. They ready for it.
they just don't
Exactly.
care.
Where are they?
Exactly. And it's like those people, would you consider them not to be empathetic?
Yeah,
To
I
not have
know.
empathy? Would you think someone lacks empathy if they
Or
went
maybe
head
they're
in
just
on-
like sick of being hurt or sick of, I don't know. I wonder what tips you to the point of like, let's go, bring it on.
Yeah. That's I don't have the answer for that.
I know.
I think I because we're all in a working process, and I think part of it is like you said, what you're conditioned to as a child. Because you think about it, some people have grown up in homes where their mom or dad, whoever, didn't take no mess. Like you said what? They're very vocal. They express themselves, and then some of us have been taught to just dummy ourselves down, or the harshness has caused us to clam up and feel frightened to express how we think and feel.
Yeah.
So I think all of that ties in. I don't think it's just a moment where somebody just automatically is like that. I think it's just multiple factors that have allowed them to get to that place. And
And then to speak on the conditional upbringing, an example would be as why someone wouldn't confront confrontation is because they probably didn't see it at home.
Right.
So you have a lot of
Yeah.
home environments where there are 2-parent homes where the kids may pick up on, depending on the age, they
Right.
pick up on it that, mom and dad, it ain't looking good. They're not.
Yeah.
And they never see the two adults confront the issue.
Right.
Sometimes, it may be where, because depending on the topic, you may not want to handle that or discuss that in front of the kids.
right,
I get
definitely.
that. But it's still healthy
Yeah.
for them to see
Yeah.
the exchange between the two
Yeah.
and learn how to maneuver around
Right,
conflict.
right, exactly.
So that's another example
Yeah.
of upbringing conditioning, is where you're in a home with an unhealthy marriage or unhappy marriage and the children don't ever see
Right.
conflict resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to, of course, look up what is causing me to avoid
Right.
confrontation so
Yeah,
much.
that's a good one. Though.
And then explains it. And it makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that's a good starting point, knowing your why and then working from there. Okay,
Yeah.
now I understand why I handle conflict or confrontation this way. Now what can I do to break that cycle?
Well, unfortunately, Doc, since you want to put me on the spot, I didn't provide that.
Okay, that's okay.
But
Maybe next time,
normally I
part two.
do.
Yeah, we
Normally
can
I
do. Part two
do.
of that.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I'll give some key ways of, now that I have the why,
Yes.
how am I going to implement it?
Yes.
So,
Sounds good.
yeah. But that's all I wanted to bring up about
Okay. Well,
confrontation.
thank you. Very
Yeah.
insightful, ladies.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Here With Us 3.
And remember, healing is a process, so take it one day at a time.
And we would love for each and every one of you to say hello. And you want to know how you can do that? Social media. We're everywhere. But you can email us if, you're intimidated by all these social media platforms. Just email us, healwithus3@gmail.com, and just say hi. We would love to hear from you.
Heal with us.
Heal with
Hit it, Toya.
us.
We look forward to seeing you in season 3.